Hey freshmen, here I am coming at you from somewhere between the head and the heart. Today we're going to be talking about theme versus subject and what exactly it means when we ask you to write a theme and how we don't want you to write a subject. So when we ask you in the upcoming weeks to talk about theme, what we want you to talk about is the heart of what the author is writing about. If we ever ask you about subject, what we want you to talk about is the head of what the author is writing about. So here's what that means. The head is the topic. It is the brain knowledge. It is usually just one word and it is not emotionally charged at all. So it's just that word that's coming out of their head. So it could be something like friendship or love or family or war. These are topics. They're usually just one word when they're coming out of the author's head because it's that initial generation of an idea that is coming out of the author's brain. So it's just that one word, that simple topic. Now, the theme is where the head goes to the heart, and that subject that comes out of the brain goes straight to the feelings and the emotions of the author who is writing it. So what we're looking for when we ask you for the theme is not the head, but the heart of what the author is talking about. So it's asking for the topic and saying, how do they feel about that topic? It's typically more than one word because have you ever talked to somebody who's emotional about something? They're spewing words out at you and they're crying or they're screaming and yelling because emotion is hard to communicate with one single word, especially if you're an author and you like words a lot, which most of them do. So how does that author feel about the topic or the subject that they're writing about? That's the theme. It's usually more than one word because it's hard to get emotions across in just one singular word. We want more than one word when we ask you for the theme, and we want you to be looking into the heart of the author and what they are talking about in their work. So when we're asking you for theme, that's what we're asking for. I'm going to give you a couple of very quick examples right now. All right, so I promised some examples and here they are. You're just gonna have to use your imaginations and pretend that I am an author. And I am an author who just had the idea of fate as a subject to pop into my head. And so, as an author, fate went from my head to my heart, and my heart said, a person has the power to change their own fate. All right, so here's another one. This one is love. And so imagine I am the author and the word love has just popped into my head and I said, oh, that would be a good subject. What would my theme be? Well, let's ask the heart. So I go up to the heart and I say, heart, what do you think about this subject of love? And my heart as the author, my individual heart as the author says, love is a painful, difficult, and worthwhile part of the human experience. Now, what I want you to notice is this may not be the case for everybody. Maybe not everybody thinks that love is painful and difficult. Maybe that really caring, perfect person in your life, like your grandmother or your mom, will say, no, love is so easy. It's easy for me to love everybody. That would be their theme because that would be their heart telling them. This is not always applicable to everyone, but everybody can find something about it that they can relate to in most cases with theme. So love is painful, difficult, and worthwhile. Yeah, that's what I say as an author, but what will someone else say? So sometimes when you're looking for theme as a reader and not writing theme as a writer, it's important to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Think, what would this author think about this subject, and what is this book that they wrote saying about the subject from their heart, not mine? So sometimes it's important to take yourself out of your shoes and your heart and your head and put yourself into somebody else's.
Now, universal themes are kind of like the umbrella that certain themes will fall under. So those themes of love and fate and family that we talked about earlier, they're going to fall under universal themes. Universal themes are things like individual versus self, or individual versus individual. There's also individual versus society and individual versus nature. So think about these big 4 themes as the umbrella that lots of other themes fall underneath. You can't have the head and the heart unless you've got the umbrella covering over both of those 2 things. It's right above me, head and heart. So our subjects and our themes are all under these big umbrellas. What are these umbrellas? Individual versus individual is the theme. The themes where a person is fighting against another person. That's the big umbrella that those themes are going to fall underneath. Individual versus self is when the individual is fighting against their own biology. That's the umbrella that those themes are going to fall underneath. Individual versus society, that's the umbrella that themes like when a person is fighting against the things that are encapsulating them and keeping them from being better versions of themselves, that's the big umbrella that those types of themes are going to fall underneath. And then the last, individual versus nature. These themes are a person fighting against the elements, so the rain outside, or the wolves that are chasing him, or the snow and frostbite that he's fighting against. Those are these that's the big umbrella that those types of themes are going to fall underneath. So these are universal themes. The head and the heart is underneath them. And so you guys go, get to work on your Google Classroom stuff, and I will see you soon.